Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. On this channel we talk about all things fandom and we talk about them in a positive way. This is Throwback Thursday, and on Throwback Thursday we talk about some fandom related news and then we give you a review of an older movie that somewhat relates to what we're talking about. So today we're going to be talking about Scream 6, and then we're going to be reviewing the movie Final Exam. So let's jump right into it. Alright everyone, so basically the new rumor that I've been hearing about Scream 6 is that it is supposed to kill more of the survivors from previous films than any other film. Now when you think about this, there's not a lot of people that have survived the Scream films. So that being said, we have Gale Weathers. We have the possibility that Neve Campbell is in it still. Even though people are saying she isn't in it, if they did come to some sort of agreement, we're not privy to this information. Could they bring her in just to kill her? And is that why she didn't want to take the part originally for the money they offered? We don't know the details of her not being in the film, so we can't say if they made a deal otherwise. Then you have the fact that Kirby is coming back from one of the previous films as well. So when you take Kirby from part 4, you have Gale Weathers, and you have the possibility of having Neve Campbell come back as Sydney. Now you've got a group of people. However, I honestly think that we will be seeing another member of a family come in to be a potential victim. Martha Meeks could be coming back only to be butchered herself. Now, what is actually cool about this theory, though, and the reason it holds water, is because they want to advance this into a new direction anyway. Having the same characters survive over and over and over again doesn't do you any justice. So any of the survivors from the previous film are also able to be killed. Remember that Randy Meeks got killed, and he was one of the original people in the first Scream movie. And he got killed in his own trilogy. So I'm thinking we can definitely see one or two of the victims be people who appeared in Scream 5. Now that being said, I think also that we're going to see at least one OG murdered. I think it will probably end up being Gale Weathers, as she is going to be a big part of the movie. Now, bringing in someone like Kirby serves a kind of a double-edged purpose. You bring in Kirby and you have the option to bring her back again should Neve Campbell not come back for the next film. Then at least you have someone that the audience relates to and really likes, because Kirby was a fan favorite. Now, I don't see them killing her off for that reason. They need someone to come back. Now, Gale Weathers, on the other hand, coming back for one last hurrah, being that kind of mentor towards the kids that Kirby will ultimately take on also in this movie. One mentor usually kind of gets stabbed to death, even if they end up surviving. So at very least, she could end up a pincushion, much the way Dewey always ended up a pincushion. Now, I want to say that I think that we're going to see a lot more deaths in this movie, especially being the rumors that we have heard that this movie is going to take place in 2 different areas. 2 different areas means more time to get to each victim and ultimately it spreads the wealth for both killers involved. Because we know there will be two killers. There's always two killers in Scream. But what if there's three killers in Scream? We don't know what Scream 6 actually holds. But I do think that there's some truth to this rumor. It's been reported by a couple people now, and a couple really reliable sources have been confirming that this is true. So if this is true, who do you think will be these victims? Because obviously we've got to have it make a big impact. And Gail Weathers is probably one of the biggest impacts you could get for that. But who else do you think would die? And do you think Gail Weathers dies in part 6? Do you think that they end up killing Sydney off screen? What other characters from the previous movie do you think are more likely to die in this one? I want to hear from you in the comments about that. Alright, so let's jump into our throwback movie review. Our throwback movie review is Final Exam from 1981. It's not a very well-known movie, but you might be interested to know that Wes Craven was so inspired by one of the characters in this movie that that character became the basis for Randy Meeks himself, which I find really awesome to think about, as once you see it, you really can't unsee it. Jamie Kennedy's performance, maybe not ever having seen this movie at all, really brings to mind this character. And the movie is very much in the same vein as Scream. You don't know who the killer is, and it becomes a mystery. However, in this movie, you do see the killer's face. He doesn't wear a mask. And that's something that was odd to see, because now it becomes what exactly is the motive, which I think is how Scream sort of got its plot. I can't be sure how much he was influenced by this movie, but it certainly does call to mind Scream. The movie starts off with two college students murdered, and then we jump into another college where a prank is pulled to help one of the football players cheat on a test. So we get to see this happen, and it's so elaborate, and the prank that they pull really cannot be done today. Honestly, if it happened today, if you pulled this type of prank, you would be not only expelled, but you would probably do jail time, which is kind of one of those you can't do that anymore moments. Now, the film then jumps to following these people as they progress through the evening of final exams. The rest of the students all kind of have left, and only a handful still remain. These handful of students are then picked off by our killer. And the movie is really good in that regard. The movie builds suspense quite well. There's not a lot of elaborate violence, but there is some gore. And the movie is all the better for its suspensefulness. I think that this movie is one that you should definitely check out. On another interesting side note, there's one other thing to talk about in this movie, something that will come as a shock to a lot of people. Now, the Dayton Daily News compared this movie to the Halloween film by John Carpenter, but they said that this was a much more slick and well done film than Halloween. So you could take that with whatever grain of salt you want. The movie is enjoyable. I don't know that I agree that it is a more slick version of Halloween, especially when you take into consideration that it helped to inspire something like Scream. So you can also rest assured that Gene Sisco said that it was a Halloween ripoff and didn't think too highly of it. I, however, give this movie 4.5 stars, and I'm going to give it 4.5 stars because it really does seem like Scream takes a lot from this film. And as a film fan, I really found that part enjoyable. The comparisons and the contrasts to what we're used to seeing in Scream that we already know was also inspired by such movies as Halloween. All right, so let us know what you think in the comments about any of our topics today. If you've seen the movie Final Exam, we want to hear from you. What do you think about the Scream 6 rumors? YouTube likes it when you leave a comment, and we like it too. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. Then don't forget to hit that like button. We like it and it helps the channel. YouTube loves it too, so you can't go wrong, and it's free. And then also don't forget to subscribe. Miko says we need more subscribers, and this little face. You don't want to disappoint Miko, so make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, as always, fandom is family.